And I will also pronunciate all my words. That will not happen because I'm horrible at pronunciating words.
Hooray!
But I will try. Woo! Alright. Hello and welcome to BS Reviews. I am Brett.
I'm Storm.
And I'm Rachel.
Thank you very much for joining us again. We are here talking about Battle Angle Alita. And there was a movie of it, but we're just going to talk about the manga series. And it's going to be great because I love the manga. Like, there's so much in here that it's great. There are different versions of it. I'm kind of have a sweet on the old Alta, or the original series, which is 9 books long.
Yeah, well, there's 3 parts. There's the original Alta, which is just called Battle Angel Alita, which is 9 books. After that, there's Last Order, which is, I think, 18 or 19 books long.
It's a lot. It's like twice as
It's twice as long. And then there is now the new series, which is Chronicles of Mars, which is still ongoing, so we'll see how long that one goes for. But I think for this part, for the first one we did of these, we were just talking about the movie and which part of the mangas were part of the movie, which were the first 4
books. We were expecting.
Yeah, which were just the first 4 books chopped up and crammed together. This will just review the whole original one, Battle Angel Alta.
And I already said, like, what I'll call Old Alta, or the original series. Mine is Old Alta, is my favorite because I don't know. It kind of kicked off my whole reading of manga. It was one of the first ones I picked up. So back in high school. How about yours, Rachel? One of them stick out to you?
My favorite probably goes to the Last Order because I know I pay respect to the first arc because it builds it up, but I like the Last Order. It has my favorite arc. 2 of my other favorite characters show up in this one that I've learned to love, so I have to go with the Last Order.
Oh yeah, and I will say the writing in Last Order is much more solid. Like, he does get better over time, and we'll talk about the time gap when we get to the end. But Storm?
Yeah, I do like Last Order, probably the best. My favorite character's in Last Order, but
we'll save that for next time.
We'll save that for the next one, which will be Last Order, which will probably be 2, because it's twice as long.
Then we get a tiny version in this one.
Oh, yeah.
But that's a different character, too.
Irregardless, like, it is still chronological, so you should start with Battle Angel Alita, or Alta.
However you want to pronounce it.
Yeah. I think it should be Alta.
I like Alita, but that's just me.
Alta.
I think we were saying it wrong because we're
probably
horrible.
Well, then I watched another show called Code Lyoko, and there was a character name that had her name, and they did say Alita all the time.
Yeah. Maybe that's where it got poisoned. Yeah. Because I forgot Lyoko.
Yeah.
But I remember watching
Yeah, she was the one with the pink hair. She was really cute.
Okay. But regardless, people should start with this one, and then jump to Last Order.
It's basically see if you like Alita, and then continue on with the series.
Great news. Is it Kodansha who has it now?
I think so.
They are re-releasing it from the very beginning, new volumes, so you don't even have to hunt them down.
Yeah.
Buy the new, which have better translations. They didn't do, there's some words that are mixed around, like they call it Salem, and they call it Taspar, which is the city in the sky. And there's some other minor changes like that. Nothing more bigger than that, though. But yeah, there's a few changes, which I think the Kodansha, because we weren't, in the 90s, we were translating way too much.
Yeah, the 90s had pretty off and on good and bad dubs, so thank you 90s for that wonderful dubbing.
But you guys can find these as new books. They also got hardbacks, which is a great way, and it's more compact. So if you just want to get 5 at hard book cover prices, that's another option. Go read it. If you're like, I'm already sold, stop this now. Read it. That's what I want you to do. But the rest of this show, we're going to catch up.
All right. So what's our first bullet point we want to talk about this series?
Well, our favorite parts. Rachel, I'll start with you. What's your favorite parts? Even though we got a lot more to talk about.
I think some of my favorite parts of the first arc is seeing her basically start out as, I don't know anything about this world, I have no memories about my past, I don't know what's going on, to watching her kind of grow up and following a path, meeting new friends, basically finding those first crushes, basically seeing, like, experiencing a lot of stuff like girls kind of go through their awkward years and everything. But I do kind of like how the story goes on. She really starts finding herself out, and honestly, a couple of my favorite side characters are in the first arc, but we'll cover them a little bit later when we get to them.
Alrighty.
But no, that's just what I really like about this one going on.
My favorite arc is the specific motorball arc. I think there's some of the coolest stuff in there, and like it's a lot better in the manga how they portray what kind of sport motorball is. But yeah, that's my favorite specific part, if that's what you're asking, is that. But I also, like, my favorite part of Alta is all the weird robot stuff, like the screwhead soldiers or like weird background cyborg people that aren't put together right because
and
they
you
can't.
never forget the Deckman.
Yeah,
the Deckman are.
Deckmen are hilarious. So that's all my favorite, but it's the weird robot stuff. What about you?
I'm gonna say my favorite part of Old Alta is just the expansive world that it takes in. Like, we stay in the scrapyard, and then we get out, and it's like so much bigger. Like, each time you think you got figure out, it like the nutshell breaks open or some secret, and like this changes everything. Like, and our favorite secret, which we'll talk to at the end, is a big change around of the whole idea of what it explores at the beginning. And then, luckily, when we get to Last Order, it even explores it deeper. And it's like, I love this. I love this all. Yes, give me more. But Alta, these 9 books, I would say there's we broke it up into 2 arcs, maybe 3.
I want to say 3 arcs.
Possibly 4 if you get
2 big ones and a small third one, because it has to make the switch from the first arc, which is really a complete story. Like, if there only the 4 books existed of the first 4 through the motorball arc and it ended, that would still be a complete story. It would be good. So here's the weird thing they have to do, and I think he does it very well, is that whole mini arc is how Alta falls down from where she's at to where she has to take the deal with Zalem and become their agent. So that's its whole mini arc within that whole one manga. And then the rest of the series is her being Zalem's agent, and that's like the AR series arc that finishes out the whole story, even though there's a bunch of mini arcs in there. Like her meeting Figure, and then Kansas, and then the Barjacks.
Okay.
So, but like, yeah, it's like 3 big arcs. Her growing as a person from what you said, her being a young person.
Basically going through
in a
like all
robot
those
body.
phases.
Yeah.
All the girl phases.
So by the time at the end of the movie or at the end of book 4 Motorball, she's a fully developed person.
I say she's like in her early mid-20s by the end of Motorball.
Yeah.
So she's getting up to that, I just graduated college age, and now I'm starting to really figure stuff out.
But that's her physical and emotional growth. And then, like, that whole book changes it from the rest of the series being about her spiritual growth. And there's a little bit of that plugged into the first one in that first arc. But, like, that's the rest of the series is that mostly, I think. So that's how it kind of switches gears on us. But it's still mostly a post-apocalyptic story with robots and kung fu. So, yeah, they mix it up I think he mixes up the storyline and the art and the philosophy very well. So, you can pull out what you like.
So, I guess as a quick overview, so people got a nice little snippet, is you got Alta's found.
Yep.
And then the growth of Alta is arc 1.
Yeah. Basically, she gets her first boy crush and tries to figure out everything around here.
Yeah.
Yep. and then she gets. What's kind of part of that is growing up, falling in love, falling out of love.
No, losing your first lover.
Losing it in a tragic way, and then finding who she really is in that last little bit, which is she trying to do when she is with Hugo, which is her first lover.
Yeah.
And it's like she's just trying to find, like, who am I? What am I? And I think by the end of that arc, I would say Alta knows, and then it goes to Motorball, and by the end of the Motorball arc, she like figures out, oh, I know who I am, and it's what she's been using all this time, her fighting ability, and she's like, I'm a fighter. Like, when it comes down to it, I am a warrior that no one can stand up to, and that even when I look defeated, I will not give up. Like, I will continue. And then Motorball happens. She finds herself. Then it, like you said, to continue the series, since, mangakas sometimes don't ever know if they're going to get continued till they're told they are. And so to continue it, you have the fall of Alta as a little mini arc. And then once that happens, you got the arc of the Agent of Taspar, which goes through the arc of meeting the Bojacks, meeting Chaos,
meeting Figure,
meeting Nova, which happens a little bit again, and then meeting, because when the first time we meet Nova? That would be
during the
fall
revenge
of
arc.
Alta.
Yeah.
Because he gave Zappa the Berserker body unlocked, and that's what wrecked up Alta and the scrapyard so bad that...
Yeah. Well, that's part of the fall of Alta arc, I
Yeah.
would say. So that's the first time we meet Nova. Okay, we meet Nova again, and then we have the final battle, and that wraps up the series. So that's the arcs of Alta. They're all little delicious nibbits of deliciousness, and
yeah, it doesn't follow a 3-act structure, so there's a lot of other stuff that happens in between there, but that's overall what happens. What's the next bullet point actually for us?
next point is the world of Alta. So I really want to talk a bit about this. I think when people think dystopias, they think, oh, all technology is gone, which I have somewhat of a problem with, because I'm like, no, you hold on to everything you can. And that's what this world has really done. You have, yes, it's a dystopia too.
It's post-apocalyptic.
Post-apocalyptic.
But like post-apocalyptic.
But all the technology, there is still people who, I know how to repair TVs. I know how to do medical stuff. I know this part of science. It's like we took our knowledge that we know, and there's people who can still do it. And so you have this world that is high tech, but also low tech. And the high tech parts, my favorite part is the biotech. I mean, you talk about a world where they can cut off your hand and replace it with a robot hand, and they can replace it with another person's hand. You can change your body if you have enough power to.
Yeah.
You can get a body of a death machine or a body of someone else. And that is a big part of the world. And so not only do you have like so much like cool combat, it's just what world that builds and the story he tells with that. And in the background you'll see all these freaky little looking people, and you'll be like, that is so cool and it's awesome. But that's my favorite part of the world. It's just the weird how high technology is that some people rule over or just hoard over, because it's the last thing they're holding on to, that is civilization. And that's really incredible. But if you guys want to bring up something else, let me know.
Honestly, with the world, like you said, because after studying like a lot of biology and going through all my anatomy and physiology courses, it is interesting to see how they can adapt the old tech, new tech, anything they can scavenge from anywhere to try to build up either people, build machinery, like mechanical animals that we see. especially with our the bar guy with the robo dogs.
Oh yes, the robo dogs.
The robo dogs. But
the robo dogs gotta be some of the best. Like.
But just seeing that, how people have to adapt and survive through, it's basically playing seeing the Fallout, how you have to go around trying to salvage any kind of materials you can get to try to rebuild up, and trying to see what even kind of food can you find or clean water.
Yeah.
Because it's hard enough to not just try to survive medical wise and try to build your parts. Is can you find food? Can you find water? Can you find clothing? Can you just find anything to survive?
Yes.
And that's what I kind of like. Is it's not just that, but it's survival of the fittest and everything else in between. So it's wow, this is very Charles Darwin, very survival of the fittest, trying to survive out here.
Yeah, because when the world gets bigger after the books, they show there's farms ran by the factories outside, but that food's for Zalem.
Yeah, that's for the people.
They
at
barely
top.
give any of it to they give enough to barely survive to the to everybody else.
Yeah, so it's okay, we're gonna give you enough food so you can build stuff to send up to Zalem, but we're gonna keep all the good stuff up here. You guys gotta get the crust.
It's a form of control. It's a way they control the scrap city.
Yeah, it's
keep them hungry, keep them thirsty, keep them underfoot,
Mm-hmm.
and it's just that's another world of the control they have and how it's
it also
all
reminds
these
me
power
of,
hungry people.
In a way, it might sound weird, but it reminds me a little bit how Attack on Titan started out. Is they had everybody trying to get into the walls. Now they've all got these refugees and all this food is scarce. So they're trying to limit that while the rich people are still trying to get fat and keep all the food. So Attack on Titan did something very similar.
It's definitely that story of where the upper people, it's just how corrupt and evil they are and how unhuman they think that humanity is.
Yeah.
So, and which is more ideas about the. So we'll save that for the last part. But I think we need to get to the next point, which is our favorite characters. Because I was about to talk to something, and that flows perfectly into it. My favorite characters one of them, my favorite character will always be Alta. She'll be my favorite always. But as far as...
She's Brett's waifu.
She would kill me. That's why she's such a dangerous waifu.
Just don't piss her off and she won't kill you. Give her chocolate.
She can't be your waifu. She's kind of married or gonna get married to Figure, and then you don't want to fight Figure.
Yeah, don't want to fight Figure either.
Yeah.
Poor Alta.
Some waifus you don't take for respect for that girl.
Yeah.
Just Alta is her own person.
Yeah.
I think but besides Alta, one of my favorite is Nova, which he's the mad scientist of all mad scientists. And I got one more, but let me explain Nova a little bit, and I'll toss it to one of you. Nova is a madman who, I think, in a nutshell, there's a lot about him, but he's a man who understands chaos theory. He's also a fellow Tasparian, which is Sidious guy.
Salem.
Sorry, I got the old name stuck in my...
We started with the old translation, so we think of it as Taskbar right off the head.
But he's kicked out because he's a madman, and they're get thee out of here, you're dangerous, and so that's what they do. They just kick you out of the city, and they think you die afterwards because they don't care. But...
Because when you don't live there anymore, you're not there
because most civilians who do get kicked out of Taspare probably die shortly after. But Nova's a madman, he manipulates things, and since he understands chaos theory, he controls nanomachines in almost unreasonable perfection manner where he can get them to do anything. And the body horror stuff that comes from that is phenomenal. But madman of madman, that's why I love Nova, because he's truly crazy. Who's got a favorite one?
Besides going off of Alita, I think some of my other ones are... I will admit, one of my other favorite characters, I really like Lou. She shows up towards the end of the, Battle Angel Alita arc. She kind of helps Alita out when she becomes, the agent of Taskbar. She's kind of like her eye in the sky. She's that cute little nerdy girl that's just
She's really, so sweet.
Yeah, she's like that sweet nerdy girl that you just want to hang out with and stuff like that. But two of my other favorite ones are in the Motorball arc. I love the Champion and his sister because they really help Alita out. The sister helps out Ido, and then the Champion helps Alita figure out stuff by teaching her... What is it he teaches her the secret of the Kai or the Chi or something like that. He teaches her a few new moves to help her in battle. I know it's like Kai or Chi where it kind of helps her focus.
Well, the motorball guy.
Yeah, the champion.
Yeah, his thing is he's got control over his like chi or his inner strength to where he can, even though he's in a robot body, he can push it further than it should be going. Kind of like like it's considered inner strength, like your inner determination to win a battle or to achieve victory, and like she learns that from him on how to like utilize that in order to win past what you normally would be able to do.
Basically, push past you think your body has limits, it really doesn't. It just keep pushing past it.
Yeah.
And that's why I really liked him, and I loved his sister because she helped Ido out a lot, and it was really sad what happened to him, but I love that the fact the sister.
And she's our little ray of sunshine.
Yeah, she's our little ray. She's like the little bubbly ditzy girl, but we all love her.
In this dark, dark world, you need that ray of sunshine.
And she has so many babies.
So many babies.
Yeah.
So many babies.
So many babies.
But yeah, Lou, I will say, I really like Lou because she's that cute little nerdy girl.
Yeah. Storm, what do you got?
Oh, well, my favorite's still in the next arc, but so is yours. But we'll talk about that
okay,
later.
one of my other two of my favorites are in the next arc.
In this arc, it's really hard. There's so many good side characters, especially robot people.
Yeah.
Like, there's that knucklehead guy, which he's cool for a bit.
Guy with treads. He's like a tank body.
Oh yeah, the turtle guy.
He's like fat. He's like a beast still at top, and he's just fat guy. I'm rolling around.
The turtle guy.
But like on the main characters, like, I gotta mention the dominatrix.
Nova's
assistant that Nova has. That's full biological and is like dom to the maximum dom. But like, so she's hilarious. Yeah, so like, I like a lot of the like, when it comes to like, who's your favorite characters, there's a bunch of them because there's a lot of like one-off or crazy robot people that show up for a chapter or so. Some are reoccurring occasionally, like you'll see him eventually again when she goes back to somewhere. It's like, hey, it's that guy again. I really like... who's the young chick?
Oh,
who's the baby?
Oh god, no, her name's in this one. Give me a minute.
What's her name?
Give me 5.
Kami?
Hold
on, just a second.
I know. Go on, keep talking.
And we will take a break after these messages.
It's right there. It's right there in that board.
Please sponsor us.
Koyomi.
Just listening to us, because that's all we have.
Yeah,
it is Koyomi.
She's really cute.
She starts the series as a baby in the bar as Kansas, and she really, like, her growth doesn't parallel Alta, but Alta runs into her again and again throughout her life. And she actually, like, joins the Barjacks against Alta for a bit and, like, saves the main guy from Alta for a bit. And
Alta's like, I can't shoot you. I knew you when you were.
Yeah, but
why? Because you're still one of my little friends.
She does that thing where it's like, if we meet again, I'll have to kill you, but...
She never kills her.
No.
Never does.
Oh, that's because shit goes down.
Yeah.
Shit
but she still never kills her.
I would say...
But she's a good side character that keeps us, she grows up always being...
Yeah, she's like, what, 14 throughout? Yeah. At one point, I know she's 14.
Yeah, once we go do the time jump when she becomes the AR series, she goes from a baby to being about 14.
Mm-hmm. I think she said 14 in here.
Following her on how she thinks of Terra, because, like, Alta's, when she's an agent of Terra, she really doesn't she still cares about the scrapyard, but her story is like going up against Zalem and trying to bring its downfall.
Mm-hmm.
So,
and I will like to talk about my favorite backgroundish characters. Also, we run into them a lot. The Deckmen.
Yeah, the Deckmen.
The Deckmen are great. They are literally cylinder people for the factory. So. It's a messed up
mouth and a couple of eyes, and yay.
Barely your eyes. They give you like these weird round disc things.
Oh, yeah, and you see that, and their lips are really big.
They still like, they got their cheeks and lips, and they're like super plump, and they like just talk with their mouth, and it's just like their real flesh. Because if you think your life is miserable and you're like, I'll just go to a work factory, what they do is like, oh, we'll make you a deck man. They blender you. They put all your insides in a tube, do weird stuff to your brain, and put you in this cylinder. And that's, as I said, it's just your cheeks and your eyes and this weird disc thing even, so it's not your real eyes. And you're just a tube that they travel and do different tasks for.
Yeah.
They are weird, but they're always so funny and they look so weird. The
Yeah.
deck men are great. It's also like part of that high technology. Just deck man, he is great.
Oh, he's even got feet. They got feet.
Yep. They're able to put these cylinder bodies like
into anything
they are made for. So they go through the factory and do stuff. They go through tubes and they put them in different driver's seats. Deck man,
They're hilarious.
They're hilarious, and they talk funny too.
Yeah.
And it's just great.
You'd probably go crazy being a tube man too. So
well, I assume when you become one, they like fry your brain a little, so you don't care even. So
yeah,
like they probably mess up your brain even. So
yeah,
not like volunteering as a deck man. You're
permanently a deck man.
You're not in all there anyhow.
Yeah.
You're like, I'm out. I'm just letting the factory fry my brain and use my body.
They
for
lobotomize
whatever.
you a little bit,
Just
a little bit of lobotomy.
Yep. Just a little bit.
To keep them in that uncomfortably cheery mood all the time, even though you're just a tube person now.
What's your function? You're a tube.
Oh,
man.
And that's how messed up the factory is.
Yeah.
Just like they'll do that to people and they just don't care.
They don't care.
Because they're part taskbar. All right, ideas and philosophy of Alta. I think this is
my corner. This is my jam. This is.
I think it's all our jams because it's just such a big. There's always a bigger idea in the Alta books. I think there's a few chapters where it's like, wait, this is building up to a bigger idea, but like it gets there, and when it gets there, it's like, my god.
Well, I think it's easy because the first 4 books is your favorite part, which is one philosophy, which is her personal growth as a person.
Yeah.
And then from the 5th volume on, it changes gears to being her spiritual growth. And there's a lot of religious and spiritual things in the books all the time, pointing that direction on personal growth. Part of, like, it spells it out when we first meet Nova in the fall book, in the books where Alta falls, where he literally says, because, like, Ido goes to him and he's like, what are you trying to accomplish? What's your goal? And he's like, oh, I gave that worm guy body to give him more power because I could, but that wasn't my end goal because I'm messing with them nanomachines. Heck, being able to control nanomachines isn't my end goal. It's just the means to an end, which is crazy because, like, Nova is literally insane.
Oh, yeah.
But his end goal, which makes him insane, is he wants to be able to alter somebody's karmatic destiny, which, like, to break it down, because I think as Westerners we kind of see karma weirdly, because most of the time you think of it as like, oh, if I do good things will happen. If I do bad things happen. And I'm not saying that's not part of karma, but he's like literally wanting to change a person's destiny or fate by giving them more power or the ability to have more power. And that's why he was doing what he was doing, because he's trying to, through chaos theory, he's trying to understand how to control a karma or destiny of him or other people, because that would basically give you godhood. Once you can do that, once you can control karmatic fate, it would make you a god. And, like, that's his, like, actual end goal.
Which makes him part of his madman and why I love him.
Yeah.
But he, just to even, like, test that idea is, like, a madman's dream.
Mm-hmm.
But
that's why he altered the brain of the motorball guy to run faster, which was giving them the flatline attacks. That's why he gave the worm guy that weird body. That's why he gave Zappa the berserker body, because he's like, I'm going to give this partially rebuilt brain that wants revenge for Alta the berserker body so it can overcome its karmatic destiny, which was default to Alta. Now it has the Berserker body at full power, unlocked. Like, it's unlocked and it can make any form it wants and create plasma balls. He's like, can Alta overcome her karma because this guy wants revenge so bad and wants her dead? Can she overcome whose karma wins out against whose when I put these two things against each other? So,
and that's why I like it too, because I feel like even when she's young, that's what Alta is always fighting against. Is like there's these forces she meets up against, and they try to beat her down, and she just fights through it like all the time. I think when she's working for Taskbar and she's going around, she's like lost in fight all the time, but then she meets Chaos and
Figure,
and then she meets these people, and she's like, wait, what am I doing? Like,
it grounds her again.
It grounds me again. It's like, I'm a fighter, but like, if that's all I do, I'm still nobody. I gotta still be and care for the things I love. I gotta fight for.
She's got a reason to fight.
Yeah, I gotta have a reason to fight, or like I'm nothing. And her reason, mostly it's for herself, which I love. Like, she fights because you slight her somehow, and she's gonna punch her in the face, or you're a murderer, and she's like, that is wrong, don't kill people, snap your neck, and it's like, yeah. And her kill count is amazing. Like, she meets evil with as equal or greater violence, because she does not want you to be, if you're gonna be a bad person, she's like, I'm gonna take you out, because like, I want the world to be a better place, and you're not helping anyone with what you're doing, so I gotta take care of that because I have the ability to. And that's why I like is like anytime she fights up a wall, her will and her like reason for fighting is just like always there, always keeping her going. And there's a lot of little philosophies we can get into, like
the Chi one from the guy. I think it quotes the Bible a couple times.
I think it does. Like,
I know there's a line from Leviticus in there. But, like, yeah, it tries to pepper in
a little bit of religion here.
Yeah.
I know in, like, I think in the Last Order they, like, state, like, Buddha or Confucius.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, for sure.
So we get into that, but that's Last Order. But I know...
But that's all... They all fall under the theme of what's your will or, like, fighting against forces that you're fighting against. And I think that's just beautiful. That's going to go into Last Order, and it still goes on, and that's why I like it, because it's people just trying to fight against the inevitable. And some of my favorite things as well is as you're reading along and there's a philosophy idea or there's some kind of tech idea, there's a little note at the bottom of your page.
You get a bunch of cliff notes.
You got a bunch of little cliff notes that will, like, hey, this is what this is talking about. Like, it's like, oh, what is, like, string theory? And it's like...
Or what is this weapon? And I'll explain this little, like, the bee missiles or whatever they are.
Bee missiles. And spider mines. Spider
mines and bee missiles.
Like, those, if they were real, they'd be so amazing. One of my favorites, is it this one or the next one where you have ramjet bullets?
I can't remember.
I think it's this one. It's a bullet.
No, they have HE rounds in here, but the ramjet bullets are in the tournament.
Are they in the Last Order? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But those are cool. Yeah. But yeah, you can explain that. I mean, a ramjet bullet, it's the same, it's like a high explosive round, but when you fire it, it's like a little jet engine that will turn on and activate and keep gaining speed. Because usually you fire a bullet and it starts dropping down and losing speed the further it travels because you've shot it. It loses
all its momentum and
but
everything.
Like these will like kick on a little motor or jet engine and like keep going faster and like puncture. Like if you could get those they might work. You might be able to build these. These could be real. I don't know, but yeah. That could basically puncture through anything.
Those would be really expensive to make, though. Yeah. I mean, little tiny jet engines and a little tiny bullet.
massive bullet anyhow, so that it
But I'm
goes,
just saying the jet engine that small or anything of propulsion inside of a
Well,
bullet.
it's like a ramjet
like
engine where it's one of those ones where the air it's flying through is being pushed through a cylinder which compresses it, and
that would still be really
so
expensive.
it's a ramjet style engine.
It would still be expensive though.
So yeah, they would be ridiculous.
It's like, oh, we need to get through this tank. All right, I got the bullet for this. Bang.
Yeah.
Okay, I shot through a tank.
but a lot of their high technology, maybe one day we'll get there. We'll be able to do the same cool stuff.
Yep.
But-
We'll make cylinder people.
But it's important for the technology, so it explains it. So we're like, oh, we know what this does now.
It's like these are B mines. They are B missiles. You fire them and then they find their own target and then
And they look like bees.
yeah, and they look like bees.
But luckily, a lot of times when they like the philosophy idea, there's a note for that too.
Yeah.
And if it's not at like the margins of the page, it's like
In the back of the book or something.
yes, at the back of the book. In the back of the book's full with like more information of the whole, like anything he couldn't squeeze in like the actual storyline, he writes in the back of the book.
Like little mini comics.
Yep, little mini comics which are hilarious and funny. The Helsing guy does that too, where he's having fun.
He's like, I'm gonna have some fun here with these characters. That was really dark. Here's a cute little comic of
Yep.
these guys being weird.
But he wants to tell you so much about the world he has in his head that he'll tell you little details and like that he couldn't fit narrative in the book. So that's, if you really enjoy it, read those. You'll get so much more than we could tell you over the microphone. So, but a lot of philosophy ideas, and there's so more that we could literally go on for hours. So we're gonna stop before we ruin the whole series for you. Now we're gonna talk about the difference between what the first series and Last Order. Because at the last book, there's a point where the author, he's writing, he has problems, and he's going to take a break writing. And so he ends Alta. And if you read book 9 straight through, that's what he did it in, because he's like, I gotta stop writing for a little bit. So
Didn't he get sick or something weird?
he's vague on the medical problems because
Yeah, he's very personal, so we don't know exactly what happened to him. If you dug into it, you'd probably figure out, but that would be kind of rude. So he did stop writing Alta for about 10 years. So he did quickly finish it because of his contract. But that ending that we have in the original Alta mangas is no longer canon, and it's quite a bit, because like it's like a full like couple of chapters of him trying to wrap everything up and how Alta is.
It feels almost a little bit
Like,
rushed.
It's super rushed.
Yeah.
It is super rushed, and like, but it puts a cap onto it so he can stop being a mangaka for a while and get better, and he did get better, and then he did 10 years later go back to writing Alta Last Order, which is nice. So like
It gives
there's
it a
a
proper
part
ending.
where like there's a whole black page with just Alta floating in the corner and that's the cut from this book, from this series to Last Order. As I said, some of the stuff that happens after that is already not canon based on other stuff that happens in Last Order. But like, yeah, it ends super weirdly, but it ends kind of on a positive note with what happens to Alta in the end and stuff. But yeah, that's really weird, but it does need to be addressed because it did happen. Like the series ended, and then like that's its weird ending it had because it just like suddenly stopped.
But luckily, when he starts Last Order, he doesn't pick up from there. He picks up, and he's like, "Hey, that ending I wrote, just ignore it.
Just
I'm
retcon everything.
Yeah,
I'm writing from this point.
Yeah.
and just keeps going.
yeah,
So it's beautifully done like that.
yeah.
So there's one more idea we have to get to because it's a big part of Alta. Before we get to that, any ideas or philosophy that you want to bring up, or did me and Storm cover it all? Or?
You guys basically kind of covered it all.
Oh yeah, I mean, it's something me and Storm are really into. But I think the last idea of Alta that it wrestles with is, and it is what it is to be human. Because that's a big part when Alta is growing up. She's like, oh, I just have a meat brain. I have a robot body. Am I even human? And the answer is yes. Of course. Duh. But she struggles with that. Because if people were in that situation, they would probably struggle with it. Cyborg stuff with it. Like, I lost an arm, now I have a robot arm.
I know a lot of Ghost in the Shell, there was a lot of struggling with, like, the Major and Bato and everybody else who became cyberized. So they did a lot of that with Ghost in the Shell.
Yes.
So Ghost in the Shell is very much like that. They're like, okay, I know I got all these weird cybernetic parts, but am I still technically a human?
Yes.
With all this weird shit.
And along with, like, if you love Ghost in the Shell, you gotta get into this, because it explores that same idea where, oh, it doesn't matter what form you have. Like, your behavior is what defines your humanity. Mm-hmm. And that's a lot in this book as well.
Because I feel like Alita's a lot more human than some of the, I guess, humans or other cybernetic people that there are out there.
And there's one more wrench thrown into this to make it more questionable and to throw it all in chaos.
Oh, yeah. The Secret of Zalem.
The Secret of Zalem.
And what is that secret? I would say, if you really don't want to know and the spoilers, this is where you drop off the podcast and learn for yourself. But that secret is...
They got no brain!
They got no brains.
Okay.
They got no brain.
For some people, it's horrible that they would even lose their body. And it's like, who am
lost
I?
An arm.
Like, you could look like a totally different machine. And you'd be like, but I would be cool with it. But, like, the idea of your brain. Now, the Secret of Zalem, all the people with the mark on the head, when they get to maturity, they go into this machine, and they come out, and they have the mark on their head. And it's like, yay, now you're a citizen. Well, the secret is they take those people, they plop out their brain, send it away. We'll leave that for more spoilers later on.
Yeah.
They replace your brain with a brain chip that is exactly like your brain. You come out and you don't think anything's happened. You're like, something happened. They checked my body. They gave me this mark. And I'm a citizen. But everything's fine. But their brain is replaced with a brain chip. And it is you. Your personality didn't change. That brain chip mimics everything about your brain perfectly.
Yeah.
And, like,
so we learned that...
Are those people human?
Yeah, because most people, everybody up in Zalem have meat bodies. They think they're
They're normal humans.
Yeah, they're normal humans. And, like, nobody knew that. Nova figured it out, and that's theorized what made him go crazy and start doing all this.
Well, I would argue it made him go crazier. But
Yeah,
I think he also got okay with it quicker, too. He's like, oh wait, this doesn't change anything.
I mean, I like that one guy once he figures out he saws his own head off to say and see the chip actually inside him, freaks the complete out.
Oh yeah, and then the automated system of their city kicks in and kills them because it's supposed to be a secret.
Yeah.
So it's so it drives it. Ido, when Nova resurrects him, and he finally tells him, or he figures it out, it drives Ido crazy enough that he blanks his memory from it, and so when Alta meets her again, he doesn't even remember who she is. So,
which is really sad.
Yeah, that's a sad bit, but he can't handle it, so he erased most of his memories, so he'd forget that he has a chip for a brain.
I mean, what would you do if all of a sudden, like, oh, I'm a normal human being, and all of a sudden it's like, wait, what happened? You saw off your brain, part of your head, it's like, there's a chip inside me. I mean, wouldn't you kind of go a little bit crazy too?
Yeah, because the main argument for Ghost in the Shell and other things is well, you still have a brain.
Yeah.
Or a brain.
So but what if
that was taken away?
It really kind of muddles the waters because it's Ido's a very good person, and you're like, oh, Ido's not a human because he doesn't have a meat brain, and it's that's not really true, is it? So
and Lou's so nice. I'm like, but then there's Lou. Lou's a precious little snowflake. I gotta protect her. She cannot not be human.
Yeah.
So
and then shit hits a fan.
So if the requirements of being human isn't a meat person and being a meat person, and it's also not having a meat brain, then what is it? what is it to be human?
And I would love to get more into that, but the Last Order gets so much deeper into
Oh yeah,
that.
they started hitting everything.
So we are gonna save our arguments for that second part because we got a big hole to dig through to that question.
Yeah.
Oh,
For
yeah.
me, I've been reading the series so long, I think I'd be fine with both. I'm like, okay, my brain's been prepared for this. I'm gonna be okay.
Yeah.
But for a lot of people, I see why it would freak out.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's some of that transhumanism where people are trying to upload their brains to computers even nowadays. There's that research, and people are going like, well, is that you? There's that argument.
Yeah.
So we'll get into that even further in Last Order because, as I said, that is even learned super late into these books.
Yeah.
And this is only 9 volumes long.
But the definition of humanity even starts at the very beginning.
yeah.
So,
And then we get all this fun stuff, and then it gets explained a lot more in Last Order.
yeah. I will say another favorite part before we wrap up. Like, get ready for some blood and gore because Alta gets messy, gets messed up too. Just body parts everywhere, and this author is not afraid to draw it. So get ready to see a brain fly through the air and just go sploosh.
Yeah, it's kind of neat that he can both do super technical robot stuff and biology body part stuff really accurately. So
Which is really hard to do because some artists are good with like the body, some artists are good more with the cybernetic. It's
And
really
this guy
hard.
can do both.
And it's really hard to get both to work out in the same concept.
like the only closest guy I can think of is the guy who writes Hellsing.
Well, I would
But
say
he's kind of good at the body stuff and the blood, and then like guns and like tanks and vehicles, and like
maybe one or
the
two.
Ghost in the Shell guy does pretty decent too at the technology end and a little bit of the biology stuff. But I think he's mostly technology.
And he doesn't like to get as gory as Alta.
No, it's not as gory. I mean, there's like a scene where Alta, like, she uses quick bit. The best form the Damascus steel blade takes is in this version, and it's like that half switchblade version of it. But yeah, like she takes that and she like, there's a couple panels of her just like slashing this thing all around and like it taking like a quarter of a person's head off and like exposing the brain, slashing and splooshing. So like he does that drawn real accurately, and like that's what I'm talking about, the body horror and like the gore stuff, because like Alta's like a knob on its gore where it will jump up really quickly on like there was normal stuff going on and now it's like half of a blood bath going on and there's dying people everywhere. So there's that bit. That's always fun. So you get that like slow burn, deep philosophy mixed in with your ultra violence, which is the best way to mix that stuff.
Yeah. Anything else? Before we wrap this up, any last little tidbits from anybody?
Not without crossing into the Last Order territory.
Then I guess we gotta
Yeah.
save it for that. So join us next time. We're gonna get to the Last Order, which is, you can tell we're all excited about it.
Yeah.
It's got my favorite arc and two of my other favorite characters.
Yes, so you'll hear about them. So thank you for joining us. Please read this. If you saw the movie and you're like, I could dig this a little, just go get it, because like it's popular enough to keep going for all these years. But I'm excited for the nice swell and what that might bring us.
Yeah.
So and
I think it did well enough. I hope an animation studio picks it up.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what
I know people are calling for a sequel, but I'm saying I'm with you. I'm like, no, get some animation studio and give the JoJo treatment to this. Like I want
Not JoJo Extreme, but
like where they did such a good whale adapting.
yeah.
I want a good adaptation. Except they're gonna have to find someone who does
Maybe
a
they
lot
could get
more bloody stuff.
What studio did Ghost in the Shell? Maybe they get the studio that did Ghost in the Shell because that
They'd be
artist that would
pretty
be
good.
really good.
Do they exist still?
I'd have to look up who does Ghost in the Shell.
I don't
I'm
know.
sure the
There's a
people
lot
are
of
in
good
business
studios,
still.
so-
If the studio's not around.
You'd get a good director and some good key animators. We'd be good. But yeah, join us next time for Last Order, which has a lot more going on it. I mean,
Oh,
we
yeah.
did very good on this first one, and we skipped over a bunch, which
Yeah, we skimmed.
yeah,
As deep as we got, we still just skimmed.
yeah, popped a rock on the top of this surface.
Alrighty. So,
And-
thank you for joining us.
Bye-bye.
Let's stop this
Bye.
before we keep going on.